What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is going to be your review for Put a Ring on It Season 1, Episode 2. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope you like this video. Yeah, we back. So we have the three couples, and the whole premise of the show is, as my mama would say, poop or get off the pot, right? Either y'all going to do this at the end of this process, either we're going to get married, we're going to be engaged, or we are going to be single. And so last week, the ladies went out on a date with the guys. This week, they're flipping it. We see Dr. Nicole sort of talking to talking to the couples on the front end. And I'm going to just go ahead and deal with Mimi and Ulysses. So Mimi and Ulysses are dealing with a unique situation. Mimi's dad is dying, and they have to make a decision about either doing a do not resuscitate on him or what's going to be the process. Ulysses basically is like, listen, that is my best friend. Like, that's her dad, but he's my best friend. I never had a father. My father went to jail, and he accepted me. He told me, well, I'm your dad now. And so he's feeling the loss the same as, obviously not on the exact same level as Mimi, but it's not just, oh, that's her dad. Like, he has he said that's his best friend. And so Dr. Nicole did something that I thought was very important. She said, listen, I don't think right now y'all need to be worrying about opening up your relationship to other things. Right now, what y'all need to be doing is y'all need to be turning to each other. Y'all need to be focused on each other. Y'all need to be supporting each other through this process. And so I don't think that right now is the time to bring in anything outside into this situation. And she said that would actually be its own test, that or how you guys process and work your way through this. Now, later on in the episode, we see Mimi having a three-way phone call with her sister, and the doctor. And this really boils down to, and this was a very important thing that she said. She said, how do you give permission to kill your parent? Because that's how she sees it. And that has got to be one of the hardest decisions to ever make, when a doctor is saying, listen, there's really nothing else we can do. And the doctor was very graphic and said, listen, if he goes into cardiac arrest, this is what's going to happen. This is how it's going. I'm not going to get too graphic into it, but this is what's going to happen. This is how it's going to affect him. And it really would be better the next time he codes to just let him go. And I think the doctor is being as honest but nice at the same time. Like, the doctor's being honest, but I think the doctor's trying to be very careful and polite in how he addresses the situation. And the sister is telling her, because she's not there, the sister I think is where her dad is. I forgot where he is, but she said you should see him. She said he's so little, he's so frail. And I think it's a hard family decision, and I never want to be put in that position to have to make that decision. But compassion ultimately, and we can't be selfish. And I'm not, this is not a personal dig at Mimi. Please don't nobody take it that way. I'm talking about in general. A lot of times we want to keep people here for our own reasons, because we're not ready for them to leave. We're not ready for them to leave, right? And then her and Ulysses had a conversation, and Ulysses sort of walked away from her, and she was like, where you going? I'm trying to talk to you. And he said, listen, I need a drink. And we saw him go outside. Now, I didn't see him taking no alcoholic drink. I saw him with a bottle of water in his hand. But even if he took an alcoholic drink, again, he's processing as well. And I understand, because she was like, well, he's supposed to be, comforting me, and he's supposed to be here for me. That's what the doctor said, is that he need to be here for me. I get it. But when you're processing your own grief, sometimes, it's kind of like when you're on the plane and they say put the mask over yourself first. Like, before I can comfort you, I need to be good. And I feel like that's kind of where Ulysses was in that moment. And I really wasn't giving him too much smoke in that moment. I really wasn't. So then Dr. Nicole made a one-on-one visit, which she did with Michael and Che as well. We're going to get to them in a minute. She did a one-on-one visit with the two of them. And ultimately, she said, listen, I don't think that this is the right time for us to do this with y'all. Y'all really need to focus on what's going on. I wish you the best. Praying for you. Well, she didn't say pray, but I'm sure if she could, she would have said. But she said, words cannot even express what I what I want to say to you and the kind of comfort I want to give you. And nobody envies that situation, but ultimately the decision was made that Ulysses and Mimi would not continue in this process. Which I believe every reviews predicted that. If y'all go over and check out my girl every review, she reviews the show as well, and she predicted that. She said that they weren't going to finish, and I think I probably agreed. So we're gonna have a new couple next week, but that's next week's episode. Let's get back to the other two. So that's Mimi and Ulysses, and again, I'm sure that in this moment, this show was filmed months ago, so I'm sure that the decision was made, and I can only just send my prayers and condolences to Mimi and her family. I don't know you, but I don't have to know you to understand what you went through and how hard that was for you. Moving on. So let's go on and talk about Ashley and Hollywood, because Michael and Shay, I got some stuff for y'all. Let's talk about Ashley and Hollywood, okay? Because I don't think they're gonna be that hard for me to take care of. It was Hollywood's turn to go on a date, and Ashley was messing with him a little bit or whatever, and ultimately I don't think she was as bothered as Hollywood was last week, but she was a little irritated. Now Hollywood went on his date. Now this is what I was telling y'all last week about the difference in the way the women are carrying themselves in these dates and the way the men are carrying themselves in these dates. First of all, the woman, she shows up. She wasn't dressed too provocatively, but it was a lot. She was giving up a lot, you know. And she seemed like a nice woman. Again, it's not a personal dig. Very spiritual, things of that nature. But while they're having dinner, she makes a comment about how much she loves sex. And she's a sexual person. Is that first date dinner conversation? Has it been that long since I've been on the first date? I don't remember ever having that kind of conversation on the first date. Now, that's just me. Maybe I'm a prude. I don't know. But I just never talked about how much I love sex on the first date. Not of somebody that I was really trying to get to know. Now, if it was somebody that all I was trying to do was, you know, but if it was somebody I was really trying to get to know, I've never had that conversation. I don't understand why that was necessary for the conversation that they had. I don't understand why that was important to anything they were speaking on. But then she went on to say, but she's spiritual, and it's after they get married, because she ain't trying to give the milk away for free. Girl, bye. And Hollywood, they had a good time. It was a cute date. They went out, looks like they went out to lunch or something like that, and they had a good time. And ultimately, Hollywood was like, she was nice looking and everything. And for me, I just feel like it just let me know I still got it. Like, it's been so long since I've been out on a first date. But that just let me know, hey, I still got it. And I was just like, okay, sometimes we need that. You know, when you're in a relationship and it's the same person, and y'all, I mean, even if y'all go out on dates and y'all have date night and you go on adventures and you travel, it's still the same person. And you know what you're getting most of the time, right? Even if y'all do role play, even if y'all try to spice it up, ultimately, you pretty much know what you're getting on any given day from the person you with. It is what it is. That's just the way life goes. So I don't think it's a problem every once in a while to get your ego stroked to say, hey, now I'm not saying I'm letting my man go out on no date with another woman. That's not what I'm saying. But I understand. Now, where Ashley was with it, let me say this. I think Ashley is beautiful. I think that is a beautiful, beautiful woman. I'm sorry, y'all. I just had to say that. I saw her last week, and then again, I said, that is a beautiful woman. Girl. Anyway. But, her thing was, what bothered her was that it didn't bother her. And I feel you on that, Ashley. I feel you on that, Ashley. She said that when he got back, I mean, she played around and joked with him or whatever. And again, I think she was irritated. But I don't think she was as bothered. I don't even think she was necessarily jealous. And I think there's a combination of reasons. But I think the ultimate reason is she has sort of shut down a little bit. And Dr. Nicole said that later on in the episode. She said, hey, just because right now y'all aren't necessarily clicking doesn't mean that you can't click. Doesn't mean that whatever you turned off, it doesn't mean it's gone and you can't cut it back on. But when Hollywood proposed and then he came back and said, well, I want to date other people, something, even though y'all got back together, you know how they say it'll never be the same? Things will never be the same. You know what I mean? And when they say that, it's sort of that moment. That doesn't mean that we can't recreate a better situation. But the same situation, it just may not be able to be duplicated. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Y'all working with me on that one? I think ultimately Ashley is scared to open back up. And Hollywood said ultimately he was scared to disappoint her, let her down, and do wrong. And I think that what I can say is that I respect, and I don't know nothing about our relationship other than what they've shown us. But what I can say from where I sit is I respect Hollywood's introspection. Is that the word I'm looking for? That he would say, you know what, I love this woman and I think I want to spend the rest of my life with her, but I still got a little bit of doggish ways. I see you, Omega Sci-Fi. I still got a little bit of doggish ways in me. Maybe I need to get it out my system before I commit to this woman. And maybe I was a little premature in asking her to marry me. So let me take a step back. In retrospect, Ashley, I know it hurt in the moment, but I think it would have hurt more if y'all got married and then he cheated on you like a month later or a year later. I feel like that. But I know that's hard to see where you are now, because where you are now is I was buying dresses and bridesmaids and we was playing, like, it was a lot. And so I think Ashley has to, y'all have to figure out how y'all can trust each other again. Why you can trust him. Because he's ready and he's getting frustrated that you're not ready. And I understand where you're coming from when you say, listen, bruh, you did me. And so now you're going to have to wait on me. I get it. But Ashley, you're going to have to figure it out. Because it wasn't fair for him to do what he did to you, but he can't wait forever. That's not going to be fair to him either. He can't wait forever. So y'all going to have to figure it out. Which is the reason why y'all on the show. I get it. And I really talked on that more than I had intended to. But y'all get it. Y'all get it. And that's what it really boils down to. Ultimately, Hollywood said he didn't want to go on another date. He said it wasn't that spark. Like the first time he saw Ashley, something hit him. And he said it wasn't like that. He saw her. She was a beautiful woman. She was nice and everything. But something just ain't hit him the same way it hit him when he saw Ashley. And and that's cool. Now let's get on this Michael and Shay situation, okay? Because see, Ashley and Hollywood, they easy. Ashley need to figure it out, and ultimately I think Ashley, you're punishing him. You're punishing him for what he did to you, but you're gonna have to end the punishment, girl. You're just gonna have to end the punishment. I get it. I understand. Make that man pay so he won't do it again. But at a certain point, if you push too far. Remember the movie, the Vivica Fox movie, Two Can Play That Game? And she was punishing her man. So you push too hard, push too far, you do too much. You could do too much. So I think you need to stop punishing him. Get him out the corner. Come on out the corner, Hollywood. Y'all will work that out. Now, Michael and Shay, here's the thing. Shay, whichever one. I'm gonna probably be saying both. I apologize on the front end, but deal with it. Work with me. Last week, I gave Michael the business. This week, I got your back, Michael. I got your back. And you know what, Michael? I understand now. See, you ain't give us all this information we got this episode. So, Dr. Nicole did one-on-ones with them. Because, I'm thinking Michael is just being a butthole. And, Shay is being a dummy for hanging on to this butthole. And she need to move on. I still have some of that in my spirit. But ultimately, this is what we found out. Okay? Michael and Shay started dating. Couple of weeks after they were dating, Shay ghosted Michael. Then they got back together, or she called him and they started dating again. She ghosted him again. This time for her ex-boyfriend, who she wasn't sure if she still had feelings for or not. Then she came back again, which I believe she came back again, and then that's when Mike went and dated this other woman that he ended up getting engaged to and moving to DC with. Here's the problem. Now, in Michael's mind, ain't no need me getting too attached, because whenever you feel like it, you just going up and leave. Whenever you see something that you think might be better, whenever you feel like the grass is greener, you going to leave me hanging. And you don't even give me the respect of talking to me about it. You just ghost me. So, nah, ain't no need in us getting married. Nah, I ain't pressed for that whole situation to go down. Nah, I ain't worried about putting a ring on your finger, because you don't commit. And you have hurt me. You have hurt me. And Michael said that growing up in his family, there wasn't a whole lot of I love yous and a whole lot of affection and stuff like that. So he don't know how to use his words to say it. But ultimately, that's what it breaks down to. And then Shay acts like he ain't supposed to be mad about it. She like, you still mad about that? And Michael's thing was, yeah, I'm so mad because we never really processed it. You never apologized for it. We never processed. We never figured it all out. You just came back, and now you want a ring and you want to get married, and we ain't even figured out what happened. Now, again, because Michael doesn't know how to use his words, it never came out in that way. The way it came out was, the way he expressed it was, I ain't trying to get married. I don't think we need to be married. Marriage isn't, it's just, you know, and he started throwing out all of these little buzzwords about how horrible marriage was and why he wasn't interested in getting married. So ultimately, it's that defense mechanism that Michael is using. But what he's scared that, and you act like what you did wasn't no issue. Now again, I'm only getting a little bit that they share with us, y'all. So I'm not getting the whole thing. But from what I see, you're real dismissive of how much that may have affected him. Now, part of that is because he probably wasn't as open about how much it hurt him. You know, but I feel the same way at this point. I'm like, well, hell, y'all need to process through that. And you are going to have to make him feel comfortable enough to make this work. I believe he loves her. Because like he said something like, I mean, if you leave me tomorrow, I'll be over it by the next day. Well, no, he wouldn't. He wouldn't. He might say it. He might act like it. But he wouldn't be over it. And if that is true, then y'all don't need to get married. If he can be over you leaving him in less than 24 hours, then you ain't the one, girl. If you really truly believe he means that when he says it, you're not the one. I don't think he means it. I think he thinks he means it. And I think that's his defense that he has built up because you have left him before. Not once but twice. I think she eventually started seeing it by the end of the episode, but she was really like, y'all have been talking way too long. All right, let me finish this up. So I think she's starting to see it. Now, Michael's date, she was nice. I liked her. She was from Memphis. I ain't like that shirt she had on because, once again, I think it was a little provocative for a first date. Again, maybe I'm just a prude. I don't know. But it was a cute top. It might have been third date material. Because, see, it was like, it was cut all the way down here and she didn't have on no bra. And now that was third date material because that was, you know, maybe you'll get some. Let me give you a peekaboo. I don't know. Whatever. But she seemed like a nice young lady. I don't think she went, I don't think she did too much. But I think Michael enjoyed being with her more. I think Michael enjoyed that date more than he was trying to say he did. Now, ultimately, he said he didn't want to go out on another date with her. But I think he did. Honestly, I think he did. And of course, Shay was being jealous. She was in her feelings. She felt some kind of way about the whole thing. Girl, listen. Shay, I'm gonna need you to kind of chill out a little bit. You do a lot. You do a little much. Again, now next week, my opinion might flip again, but this week, I really got to see Michael's point of view on a lot of this and where it is. Anyway, let me get off of here, y'all. It's been almost 20 minutes. We're gonna meet the new couple next week and see what happens. Next week, everybody goes out on a date. So we're gonna see how that works itself out. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.